Hi, my name is Joe Jackson. I'm a journalist, author, interviewer, and broadcaster. But before all that and through it all, I was and I remain an Elvis fan. In fact, as soon as I became a professional interviewer in 1985, I decided to walk a separate path, a pilgrim path of a Presley fan, if you like, seeking out people who knew or had worked with the King. At the time, I was writing a book called In Search of Elvis, which has long since been set aside, but soon will become a series of podcasts. Either way, I met and interviewed many such people down through the years, and indeed many musicians who are more than happy to talk about Elvis and his influence. So you can imagine my delight when I was in LA in 2005 interviewing country singer Dwight Yoakam for a radio show and Pat Boone for a newspaper interview, both of whom incidentally had much to say about Elvis, and I heard that Leiber and Stoller were in town, and I then tracked them down to do an interview. What we said that day led to me making 2 radio documentaries, each 1 hour long, focusing first on the work they did with Elvis, and then the countless classic pop songs they composed and produced for other seminal artists. But in those radio shows, I didn't use all the exchanges that occurred between myself and Jerry Leiber and Mike Stoller, something I knew was bound to happen, as you shall hear. By the way, this is just a short clip as part of my single series running less than 3 minutes, but it ends with a world exclusive, namely Leiber and Stoller singing for me and for you a few bars from a blues song called Bow-Legged Woman. But it all started when I brought up the subject of what I called the filthy Christmas song they wrote for Elvis called Santa Claus is Back in Town. And by the way, if you know the song, you know what I mean when I say it's subversive. It starts off with the Jordanaires singing the word Christmas, as if we're about to hear a traditional Christmas song straight out of the Bing Crosby Soppy songbook. But then in comes the King, howling like a horny rooster.
Oh yeah, there's one Presley song I played, which caused a lot of controversy. Jerry Leiber and Mike Stoller. One of the songs you did for Presley isn't, I saw it on your own compilation, but is Santa Claus is Back in Town, which is kind of like a filthy Christmas song. I mean, to be writing that kind of sexual Christmas song back in the 50s.
It's dirty. It's not
dirty.
filthy.
Not filthy. Just dirty.
Where do you see the one we have in our pockets? That's filthy. If you're really nice, we'll play it here on the air for you and all the nice people here in Ireland.
Okay, well, I do know that, when I was a kid and I played the Elvis Christmas album in a boys' club, I was told to take it off because of that kind. You're going to see me coming in a big black Cadillac. It was also the way he sang it.
Take what off? What are they talking about?
The CD, the record.
Oh, the record.
If you think that's going out in the air, man, you got another thing coming. But seriously, wasn't that, you were subverting, you talked about Bing, right? Lyrically and musically, you were subverting the Christmas song with that. The White Christmas song.
That's the lurid thing the writer was talking about in the magazine.
Could you turn White Christmas into Black Christmas?
Yeah. Well, you could try.
All right. Okay, but those kind of recordings, that kind of blues thing, again, Presley did very well.
There was a tradition of what they called blue writing, not blues writing, but blue writing, and these were off-color songs. And there was a tradition of that as long as there's been the blues. The great old female singers, especially, like, not Bessie Smith, before Memphis Minnie, Bessie Smith, way back in clubs would do these double entendre songs. And actually, that's what I was trying to do. And it wasn't trying to be off color. It was just trying to write one of those songs successfully. That's really what it was about.
Okay, and people are going to hear it again.
That's like Bull Moose Jackson and Bow-Legged Woman. Right, I want a bow-legged woman, that's all. I want a bow-legged woman, that's tall. I want a bow-legged woman, plenty of room in between. She
gotta be built like a big bass fiddle, big fat legs and plenty of room in the middle. I wanna be on my way to find a bow-legged woman today.
We're going to break for the Angelus now.
Hi, Joe Jackson here again. I thank you for listening to this edition of the Joe Jackson Interviews podcast. And if you want to hear more or read more, check out my website, joejacksoninterviewer.com.